Hello, everybody, and welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that's the most wonderful part of the year. My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Volo.
And did you really think we wouldn't make something for you to listen to on Christmas Day?
I mean, really.
It's a Christmas podcast, idiots.
For God's sakes.
But we've run out of Hallmark movies.
Thank Christ.
There is a God in the sky. There was only 40.
Some of which we didn't even find.
Yeah, some of it was hard.
Yeah.
The whole point of this was to ask a question. Should you watch all 40 Hallmark movies? And the answer is a resounding no.
I think only like 4 of them are any good.
I would say 4 of them are, like, watchable, like, good, like, movies I would vouch for. Mm-hmm. Maybe another 5 or 6 are okay. The rest of them, put them in the trash. But that leads us with this, and I wondered the whole time I was doing this, because I thought on Christmas Day we might do a movie that was, like, so bad. It was, like, the worst of the worst.
A truly, like Christmas Shark.
Yeah, well, actually, it was going to be the Miser Brothers live action. For those of you who don't know, there's a live action Town Without a Santa. It stars John Goodman, Ethan Suplee. It's truly God's mistake.
It was made for $20, and somehow John Goodman agreed to this. And, like, what?
Yeah. So that's truly awful. I thought about doing that one, but I thought, you know what? It's Christmas. You don't want to be a downer on Christmas. I want to celebrate something on Christmas. And so we picked a movie that I don't think is underrated at all, but I would like more people to see. And that movie is called Klaus.
Yes.
Not the character from the Umbrella Academy.
Or A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Or apparently The Vampire Diaries.
Is that the one where it's basically vampire porn?
Yeah. But no, Klaus is a 2019 English language Spanish film. It's 2D animated. It's a Christmas movie. It was directed by a guy named Sergio Pablos. Excuse me if I mispronounced his name. It is on Netflix right now. It is a Netflix film. So if you have Netflix, you can watch it no matter where you are in this world. And if you haven't yet this year, today is the day to do it, it being Christmas.
Yes.
It is an alternate retelling of the Santa Claus mythos.
Yeah, how we got here. The story of how we got here.
It is co-written by Zach Lewis and Jim Mahoney, and it is starring Jason Schwartzman, J.K. Simmons, Rashida Jones, Will Sasso, and Joan Cusack. It's got a great cast, especially I think J.K. Simmons voicing Santa Claus is an amazing idea. It was nominated for Best Animated Film at the 92nd Annual Academy Awards. It lost.
It was robbed
to Toy Story 4.
Don't they have enough awards?
I was going to say, great movie, Toy Story 4. Really is. I like Klaus better.
Which one is Toy... Okay, Toy Story 4 is...
That was more Forky.
Oh, okay.
How do we exist in a world that we did not wish to be existent in?
And when someone stops loving you, what do you do about that?
Yeah, great movie. But I like Klaus a little bit better because I'm a Christmas nerd.
And I believe that Toy Story's won enough fucking awards. You guys can go. You know.
Did you need another one?
Did you really need another one? It's like Beyonce being like, I dropped another album. And we're like, did you need more money?
We know. We'll listen to it.
It's like best record that's not belong to Beyonce category.
So yeah, it was super close. I think it should have won, but you know what? This was my punishment for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse winning the last year. So
I don't think we should be punished for that.
I don't think so either. But like I wanted that one to win over. Whatever.
Dances with Wolves.
I was going to say whatever Pixar movie came out that year. And it did. And that was great. And this was Pixar coming back to stomp me in my ass. But that's okay. So, If you don't know, you should know who these guys are. But Jason Schwartzman is known for being What to Do If You Don't Get God, what's his name now? Anyway, Jason Schwartzman is like kind of a nerdy fella. If he's in a lot of Wes Anderson films. You might know him. He was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Which?
He was Gideon.
Oh, do you know how long it took me to make this evil League of Evil? Like 2 hours.
2 hours. That was He's that. He's also on an HBO show called Bored to Death with Ted Danson.
Oh.
That was a really good movie. Nobody else liked it, but I did. J.K. Simmons, you know who J.K. Simmons is.
Don't play that game.
He's J. Jonah Jameson. He is Fletcher from Whiplash. He is that guy in the farmer's commercial, farmer insurance commercial.
He's in a farmer's commercial.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh.
He's the dude.
He's allegedly the best detective, according to Captain Holt.
That's true. And fun fact, for a long time, he was the yellow M&M.
He was the yellow M&M?
He was the yellow M&M in that commercial, the Christmas commercial.
We go Santa?
Yeah, I don't know. I never met the guy. Santa? That's J.K. Simmons.
Wow, he's down to clown for anything.
Right?
He has the vibe that he shouldn't be. You know?
Yeah, like he should be. Also, he was Stanford Pines in Gravity Falls, which if you know me, you know I love Gravity Falls. I made a podcast based on it.
It's in Oregon, you know.
Yes, it is.
That's going to be the thing I say when we go to Canada, you know? Like,
It's from Oregon, you know. Hey, you know what? I've been saying it for years. You go ahead. It also stars, like I said, Rashida Jones, who you probably know if you're a fucking dork with no class, you know her from The Office. If you're a good TV watcher, you know her from Parks and Rec.
She was in The Office?
Yeah.
Like, was she a mainstay?
I have no idea. I've never seen The Office. And I don't intend to. Shut up.
We can make a podcast about The Office.
I don't wanna.
Just putting that in the universe.
I don't wanna watch The Office.
I'm not saying you should.
Every straight white man I've ever met has been like, have you seen The Office? No. I have other shit to do.
I'm just saying the gifts are pretty good. Apparently, one of the characters are like, sit in the room being paid to judge other people where your lunch is paid for. That's the dream.
That's true. I don't know. It's just... Now it's out of principle. You know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah.
I fought it for so long.
Yeah.
And Joan Cusack has one of the best, amazing villainess voices I've ever seen. Like, she has... she was... where would you know her from? She was the principal in School of Rock.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. She's been in a ton of other stuff, but... Like, she has that voice where you listen to her and you're just like, you're a bitch. I don't know why.
What a psycho.
She's an amazing actress and an outstanding woman. But, like, you just hear her voice and you're just like, no. Anyway, on to the plot proper, because that's what you're here for. Curtain up. We start with our main character, Jesper Johansson, who is I guess he's trying to be a postman. He's not trying to be anything. His father is Postmaster General, leads this whole thing, and used his considerable carriage to give his son a job. But his son is a lazy piece of shit. If you've seen The Emperor's New Groove, this movie starts out almost exactly like that. Lazy prince, who...
Really is just here for the money.
Really is here for money, doesn't want to work, doesn't want to do much. And that's where Jesper is. And this postman, like, training ground looks like an army
Yeah, we
barracks.
should preface this by saying that in this universe, the postman and the army are the same people.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like, they take their mail real seriously.
Like, they got drill instructors, they got, like, it's boot camp. And he's just chilling out in his own little tent with, like, juice and everything. And he's been trying to flunk out for 9 months, and he just won't do it because his dad runs the place. So he gets hauled in to see his dad, and he's like, listen, you useless skinflint. I'm tired of you being my son. And I'm tired of you not doing anything. I can understand you're trying to flunk out. It's not going to work. So congratulations, you're a postman. And he's like, pardon? And he's like, absolutely. You are going to the town of Smearensburg. It is way out there. Like, he is in PEI. Like,
I love how you think that. I love how Canadians keep referring to PEI as this nowhere island made of ice and death.
That's pretty much, you are in PEI, and you are not allowed to come back unless you send and receive 6,000 letters.
Isn't it like 6,000 letters in 1 year?
Yeah, I believe it is in 1 year.
There's got a time limit.
If you don't do that, you are cut off completely. We're rich as fuck. But if you can't accomplish this, you're done. And you lose everything.
Even his drill instructor is like, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Yeah. Even the drill instructor's like, "That's kind of far." And
like, I understand he's awful, but like, no one's ever accomplished that.
So Smearensburg is the color gray. Like, that's what this place is. So we have a little traveling montage, and he's like, one day, he'll understand why I did this. Maybe one day he'll even thank me. And then it's just like 5 minutes of him going, "Oh, thank you, Father. Oh, this is amazing." And then, like, he's on a horse-drawn carriage.
But it's really rickety.
It's rickety. The wheel breaks off. He's trying to fix it, and he's getting mud splashed in his face. It's like, "Oh, thank you, Father. This is what I needed." And he arrives at the Smearsburg port, I guess. And there's one ship captain there, played by Norm Macdonald, who's got an excellent, like, don't give a fuck voice. And he's like, "Oh, you want to go there?" You. All right, why not, man?
Oh, you're the new postman, huh? Well, let's see how this works.
So he gets in this little ringy-dingy boat, and they float off. And then Smearsburg, like I said, is gray. It is dour. It is like kind of rainy, snowy, constantly windy. Like, this place sucks. There
was a dead whale carcass hanging upside down,
which they do not explain.
Other than this place is awful.
Yeah, like there's a moment as he's floating towards it. They go under this gigantic whale skeleton, and it looks like a moment in like the King Kong movies, where they like pass under a giant arch and they're just like, "Oh, we are past the wave of no return," and we are. So he gets in the place, and Norm Macdonald kind of shows him around, and he's like, "I kind of thought there'd be like a welcome party, people with hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and show me where I'm staying." And he goes, "Oh yeah, there is. See that little bell over there in the middle of the square? Go ring that. Everybody will come out and say hi." And he's like, "All right, perfect." He rings the bell, and then shit pops off as the left half of the town and the right half of the town destroy each other.
We should preface this by saying that when he got here, like, there was old women, like, smuggling what is very clearly a body out of a door.
Like, I will say, this is a kid's movie, but it is a very dark kid's movie.
Yeah. There was a snowman designed to look like it was screaming as little children stabbed it with carrots.
There's a little moment, the children are building a snowman, and there's, like, 8 or 9 carrots just like shoved into its body, and there's a little girl holding the carrot, slowly shoving it in as they're like walking by,
unblinkingly,
and like just staring at the main character.
It's like a running joke of this little girl. And while the town's being destroyed, post bell ring, you can just see her with a carrot running into the fog, staring right as the character running in the opposite direction.
Exactly.
I love her.
So like the bell rings and it's war. And, like, he has no idea what's going on. Apparently, there are 2 warring families that make up this town. The Ellingbows and the Crumb. They are basically, like, the Hatfields and the McCoys. The town is split right down the middle. And they do nothing but, like, attack each other and make each other's lives hell. They don't talk to the Ellingbows, don't talk to the Crumb don't talk to the Ellingbows. This town sucks. So Jesper is like, great, now I gotta send letters. That shouldn't be too hard. He goes into his post office, which is just holes in the ceiling. Just a POS place where it's constantly raining and snowing on him. He sets up his little, like, I got 6,000 letters. He draws a little, like, a thermometer to let him know how far he gets. There are chickens. This place is a chicken coop as well.
Yeah, because no one sends letters, and they've never had they've had a postman before, but they've never stuck around long enough, so they just turned the place into a chicken coop.
So on his first day, he goes to try to collect letters. Nobody's sending letters, because nobody wants to say anything to anybody else. They say it with fists.
My favorite joke is, like, when he asks the sea captain there about what the hell, he's just like, well, they already know how to say it to each other. And in the back, you see someone with a cannon blow another house off the hill with their cannon.
And they're saying it pretty well. So Jesper at this point is basically desperate. I think it takes about 2 weeks for him to reach the I got nothing phase. So this little boy draws like he's out and about in this big old house talking to
the sea captain.
And this little boy is like drawing something and it like flies out the window. Jesper catches it and he's like, hey, can you hand that back to me? And he goes, no, but I can mail it back to you, huh? He goes through the explanation of how to mail stuff and he's just like, well, you're right there. Can't you just give it to me?
Kid's got a point.
And he's like, oh, sorry, if you don't have postage, I'm keeping this. And he turns around and, like, that little boy's father is there. And he looks like a gaunt, like, Grim Reaper type of fella with, a Quaker hat and a shotgun.
And, like, 2 very mean dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Not puppies.
Dogs. So he has hit every mailbox and nothing's there except for one. Way out up a mountain, there is an old woodsman who lives in solitude. He goes, well, I guess I can try him. And the sea captain's like, yeah, go ahead. He loves visitors. This is going to go well for you. And away he goes. So Jesper shows up at this very well-decorated house. He goes inside a shed. And it is filled with toys.
Like, to the brim.
To the brim with old, like, wooden toys. And he's like, well, that's weird. Gonna step away now. He turns and, like, headbutts a giant woodsman. Who we will later find out is the titular Klaus. He's big. He's mean. He's got an axe. And he's scary.
Yeah. He's, like, 17 feet tall, 15 feet wide.
Yeah. So Jesper, like, he falls to the ground. One of my favorite jokes is, oh god, please don't cut me up and mail out my parts.
Scatter my parts in the forest.
Scatter my parts in the forest. I just like to scatter my parts. So Jesper runs away, as you would.
And he's in full fuck this mode.
Oh yeah,
he'd rather go and live in the gutter than be murdered by a crazy axeman.
But as he leaves behind the drawing that he stole from the kid. Klaus picks it up and he's like, and like wordlessly walks away.
Yeah, because the magic wind pulled it out of his bag. Magic wind is a big motif here.
Yeah, so did you ever play Ghost of Tsushima? You know the wind that shows you where you're going? That's this. A gust of wind basically guides Klaus to certain points in the story. That'll get explained later on. So Jesper is like, fuck this and fuck you. I'm out. And he goes to ride away. And he just, like, with his little horse-drawn carriage, and runs straight into Klaus, who, like, stops the horse.
Not my parts!
Yeah. And he's like, And he gets in the carriage with him. And he has the letter. And in it is wrapped a toy. And Jesper's like, hey, what? And he's like, do you know where this kid is? And he's like, no, well, actually, I do. He's over there, but don't kill him either. And he goes, no, show me where he's at. And so they go to the place, and he goes, all right, deliver this. And he looks inside, and there's a big gate. It's closed. And there are bear traps, spike traps, and 2 really angry dogs and a locked door. He's like, go in there. And he goes, I can't. The gate's locked. So I can't.
Hard pass.
Can't go through a gate. And he, like, rips open, like, bends the gate bars and, like, pushes him through.
And then kindly puts them back because he's a nice dude.
Yeah.
But traps him on the other side.
So he tries to go in. That doesn't go well for him.
Because dogs.
Yeah, and he runs out to avoid getting shot. He runs away. He's like, sorry, I can't do it. There's nothing I can do. We're screwed here. Not gonna happen. And he's standing on, like, a plank of wood. So Klaus is just like, this will be funny. And, like, curb stomps that piece of wood, sending Klaus up into the air and through a chimney. Are you following where we're going?
The implication, though, is that Klaus just hooks Jasper for the rest of the movie.
Pretty much. So through the chimney he goes, and he, like, drops the present. Like, I guess I technically did my job. He avoids getting shot with a shotgun.
There's, like, 50 locks on this door. And a mean guy is coming around the corner with a shotgun.
Yeah. And he, like, just hauls ass away. He's like, hey, that was great. Let's not do that ever again. Thank you for coming. Goodbye forever. The next day, a bunch more kids show up at the post office. And he's like, why are all of you here? Please go away forever. And, like, we were told by our cousin that if we make a letter and send it to the old woodsman, we could get a toy. And Jesper's like, that's mail. You're sending mail. Okay, what I need from you is I need an envelope. It has to be in an envelope, and there has to be a penny, because that's postage. No penny, no postage, no mail. Everybody good? Okay. And he takes the 3 letters, runs them back up to Klaus, and he's like, hey, look at how sad these kids are.
Sad, ugly...
Sad, ugly children.
That's legitimately one of the jokes.
Yeah, we're not just making that up. It's like, these sad, ugly children, they just need a toy. Like, this little girl, she's got one toy, and it's so old it's falling apart. And, like, this kid doesn't have any friends to play with. And he goes, and then there's Alan, poor, ugly Alan. He can't... and Klaus
isn't buying it.
Well, no, he kind of is. He's got a soft spot for it. And he's like, I guess, like, it's for the kids, I guess.
But the magic wind is basically creating a neon sign behind him.
So the wind sweeps up the snow and the leaves, and it kind of creates like this little halo around Jesper, who, like, as he turns around to see what the hell Klaus is looking at, it disappears. And so Klaus is like, I guess that's my sign. I guess I'm with you. And so as, like, the days go by, he gets more and more letters. He delivers these. Well, he has Jesper deliver.
He hucks Jesper. Jesper puts it in the house.
He hucks Jesper up the chimney, and he puts the presents in. And then these kids come by, and they, as long as they have a letter, he sends them out and gets a toy. But some of the kids are like, we don't know how to write. He goes, that's not my problem. Go to school. Cut to the school. We meet the teacher, who is played by Rashida Jones, who has a job at the school. She is the one teacher where nobody chooses to learn. So she has basically taken up the job of fishmonger and is...
real bitter about it.
Real bitter about it. I've been a fishmonger. I'd be bitter. But she is basically saving pennies a day to get the hell out of here. It's been 5 years. And just, like, the light in her eyes is gone. So one day, like, she goes into work and sees a bunch of kids sitting in their seats. She's like, what are you doing here? They're like, we're here to learn. He goes, yeah, okay. I'm going to close my eyes and then you all go away. And then, like, they're still here. Just kind of bugging her. She's trying to do her fish job. And she's like, okay, if I teach you something, do you promise to go away? And they're like, yeah, obviously. I'm like, fine. So she teaches one of the little girls how to spell her name. Annalise is her name. And she's like, that's my name? He's like, yeah, wow, good for you. She's like, wow, that's amazing. I've never seen my name written out like that. And all the kids are, teach me how to spell, to sign my name. Teach me how to spell. Teach me this. And like, you can see her eyes just like, oh, my profession.
But she's still like, this is a fucking trap.
There's something about her that's just like, no.
Because she spent 5 years in, what's the name of this place?
Smearsburg.
She spent 5 years in Smearsburg, where there's a battle bell.
Yeah. So, as more kids find out about this, more kids learn to write, more kids write the letters to Klaus, and they send, and the Klaus is like, I guess, why not? More and more toys get put on this big old sleigh, to the point where a single horse can't move it.
And the school teacher is starting to use her savings that she's supposed to be using to get out of town to actually buy, like, school supplies for these kids.
Yeah, so she's fixing up the schoolhouse into a schoolhouse. So they're like, okay, well, there's too many toys on the cart. Less toys means less weight. So Klaus starts taking toys off, and Jesper's like, oh, less toys means less mail. Less mail means I'm stuck here longer. Wait, we can't. The children will be so disappointed. We have to find a way. I'll think of something. And they look around, and what do we see that's bigger than a horse? Several reindeer. Are you seeing where we're going?
And now we have the hilarious montage of Jasper tries to wrangle reindeer.
Yes. He is trying his gosh darndest to wrangle a single reindeer, while Klaus takes like a little bushel of lettuce and creates a little trail to his cart.
Yeah, he basically associates himself with lettuce to the reindeer, and the reindeer are like, well, yeah, we could do this job for lettuce. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So the reindeer come up. There's about 8 of them. And they pull the sleigh very, very easily.
Well, no, it's a cart right now.
I did say sleigh, didn't I?
Yeah.
They pull the cart very easily. I've been trying very hard not to say sleigh, but I fucked it up just then. So, as the story keeps going, there are these little bastard kids that threw snowballs at Jesper when he first arrived. Because they're little bastard kids.
Yeah, they are little bastard children, yes.
So, delivering one of his toys, he remembers he's a little bastard kid. So he drops, instead of that, he just drops coal in his stocking.
And takes the toy back.
Yeah, and he's like, later, you little bastard. And so the next day, he opens up, takes over the kids' letters, and then he gets a snowball to the mush. And he's like, what the hell? And the little kid's just like, hey, I wrote my stupid letter, and all I got was coal. What's the deal? Because, yeah, joke's on you. Klaus doesn't give toys to naughty children. He goes, the only way he'd know that is if you... If
ratted us out.
Yeah, if you ratted us out. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. Because Klaus knows. He knows everything. He sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. Now, you don't want to make Klaus mad, do ya? And the kid's just like terrified, and he's like, no, hell yeah. He gets up and walks away, and the song playing in the background is just like this.
You don't mess with the postman.
Yeah, you don't mess with it. It sounds like the Wolfpack theme from the NWO. Don't mess with the postman. You might end up in a body bag.
And then all the other kids are like, wait, only good kids get toys?
But yeah, they have this moment where they're just like, wait a minute, there's rules to this shit? Uh-oh. So immediately all the kids start doing things around the city. But they're also working together. Like, the kids aren't allowed to intermingle because some are Crumbs and some are Ellingbows. And this sets off the old folk. Because
Grandma has a heart attack.
Yeah, the kids are, like, helping each other, helping the other sides of the town, fixing up, like, shoddy buildings. And
they're painting fences.
And shoveling each walks. There is a scene where they're just, like, the kids are writing... it's epistolary. You can hear them writing the letters to Klaus. And they're like, instead of stealing all of this lady's berries, we picked them for her. And then she gave my mom a whole bunch of jam. And then my mom gave her a strawberry cake. And it's the most passive-aggressive, like, because they're on different sides of the faction. So the lady's just like, why are all these berries here? Fine, I'll make her jam. She hands the mom the jam. She's like, and then the lady's just like, well, then I will make a cake of this. And then she picks up the cake and hands it back to the lady, and she's like, it's the most passive-aggressive, polite fight I've ever seen.
But the town starts getting better. Like,
the town starts, it starts improving.
there's color.
Yeah. And this is where the art style really kicks in. Because it starts to add color to this drab palette. And the animation style is very, like...
Fun.
It's almost paper craft in a way.
I guess.
Like, the sharp angles and sharp edges, and it's so pretty. So, and this is where you should really start to see the color come back into the town. So, there are the two family elders. There's Tammy Crumb and Axel... Yep, Axel Ellenbow.
They have names?
Yes. And they're both like, what's happening? We're not feuding anymore. I don't understand why.
They're the leaders of the respective clans.
Yeah. So they, like, have their kids play with each other. Like, their kids are playing with each other, and they kind of yank them apart. It's like, you don't understand. We hate them. And the kids are like, fucking why? And he goes, oh, we'll explain. And the explanation is, they fight now because they fought before.
Yeah, it, like, there's this little, like, scene where they rewind all the times they fought, and it starts with, like, it gets older and older art styles, all the way up until it's, like, an
caveman painting on walls.
Caveman painting on the walls of their ancestors just going at it.
It's, you know, it starts with modern day, and then, like, old, like, Renaissance paintings, and then, like, Greek warfare, and then, like, the Romans, and then eventually it's just a caveman bonking into the caveman on the head, and a little stick drawing.
And, like, all the other teens going, yeah, get him!
Yeah, so there's no reason they're fighting. They have just always been fighting. And they have no plans on stopping or making anything better. Guess who's a Republican?
Well, good thing they lose. Spoiler.
Yeah, so they're both, like, separately. They're not working together right now. They're both like, we have to stop him. This is all coming from Jesper. Let's kill him.
No, but before that, I would like to point out the Great Mooning of 85, which is a joke where they're just like, they have a scale model of what apparently in the 85, where they just stuck all their butts out the window, and it moves. Like, she hits a button.
It's like a diorama where you flick a switch and just, like, everybody, like, shoves their butt out a window. It's the Great Mooning of 1985. It's an amazing movie. What do you mean it didn't win an Oscar? Fuck you.
How dare you give another award to Toy Story?
So
another one?
Jesper and Klaus are coming back for another big present haul. And on the one side, the Crumbs are just sending, like, a giant boulder out, and they're going to try to crash into them. And the Ellingbows, I believe, are also sending another boulder. Like,
No, it's a giant tree.
Excuse me, you're right. Send a giant tree, and they, like, kind of collide in the middle, ruining each other's plans. And they're like, what are you doing at our ambush? And like, oh, your ambush? This is our ambush. So the sled, well, the cart, it doesn't get away completely unscathed. The wheels break off, turning it into a sled, being pulled by 8 reindeer. And because they have no control over it whatsoever right now, they just slide down, and the reindeer are pulling them. And they basically hit a ramp. And all 8 reindeer and with the sled and all the presents kind of look like they're flying through the air.
And this little kid who heard a kerfuffle gets up and he's like, what's going on? And oh my god!
Yeah, the little kid hears this stuff and he, like, looks out the window and he sees the sleigh and it looks like it's flying. And he's like, wow. Of course, the sleigh hits the ground and, like, crumples into dust.
The reindeers fucking no-sell
it. The reindeers, they, like, land on the ice, so they slide away. And this one has a look on his face like, well, we all knew it would come to this.
Do you think I get double-blooded for this?
Yeah. I like this story because all of the Christmas, or all of Santa's character traits kind of come by happenstance.
Yeah.
And it gets worked on and on through children and through stories to become the myth we know it as. Like, that's good. That's good stuff right there. So, Jesper's deadline is approaching. We're almost at the next year. And so he looks in the toy shed that he found earlier in Klaus's place, and it's almost empty. And he's just like, hey, you know, only a couple more toys left. And Klaus is like, yep, a couple more trips and we should be all done. He goes, bet you're glad, you know, you're almost done with the night shift. And he's like, yeah, totally. And at one point, something happens that causes Klaus to laugh.
It's because, it was during the day shift. He's there. Jasper's just collecting letters from kids. Be like, letter, money. And this kid who saw them in the night with the reindeer flying through the air,
right,
comes in, puts his back against the door, and is like, you won't believe what I saw.
You guys will not believe what I saw.
And so Jasper, like, tells...
is retelling the story to Klaus.
And he's just like, so it's they think we have magical reindeer. Yes, they think we have magical reindeer.
It's amazing. And Klaus, like, he hears this and he starts to laugh. And he's not used to laughing. So eventually it breaks out into a ho, 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 as it were. Leading to one of my favorite jokes in which Jesper looks at him and goes, wait a minute. That's really how you laugh? Do it again. No. Just a little chuckle. No. Maybe a sneer? No. Come on, laugh again. Keep asking. See what happens.
Okay, so this guy with one leg goes into a bar.
So we see this toy chest is kind of empty. And he notices that there is like an alcove built into the wall with two little figures, a man and a woman, and a lot of slots underneath it that are not filled.
Yeah, this is when Jesper tries to pitch Santa, what if Christmas kids get presents? So we kind of learn about Klaus a little bit. Basically what happened here. A long time ago, he was married to... Do you remember what her... Lydia,
thank you. Married to a woman named Lydia. And he went out, found this spot for them to live. They loved it because they wanted a lot of space because they wanted a lot of kids.
Yeah, like this is the place where he proposed and they built a house there.
It was a very special place for them. And so like he built this little thing where they had the two figures of them up there, and then in the empty slots would go their children. And so they wanted to try to have kids, and in his excitement, he started making toys for them. But the kids never came. They just couldn't conceive for whatever reason. So he made a ton of toys, and they just started building up and up and up. Eventually, his wife got sick and passed away. And since then, he started making birdhouses because Lydia loved birds. Just to keep himself sane. And so there's a spot up a hill where all the birdhouses are that he can't go back to right now because it reminds him too much of Lydia. So that's why there was so many toys. And Jesper is at this point is like, whoa, that's too personal for me to remain cool and aloof. We need to... And at this moment, he has this, like, I cannot keep taking advantage of this man. I have an idea. So he's like, what we do is we don't do this every night. We do it on one day a year. Which just so happens to coincide with the time I have to leave. Christmas. We take every letter from every kid. We take all the toys, and in one night, we hit every single house. And Klaus is like, that's gonna get us killed. He goes, yes, probably. But why not? And then, like, he tells the story about the kid, and immediately Jesper's like, I've made a mistake. But Klaus is very much like, you know what, let's do it. You're right. Let's go make these kids' days. And he's like, oh no! There is a subplot about a little girl who does not speak English. She speaks a language called Samdi. And there's a small issue, and that she wants a toy just like the rest of the kids, but she can't convey it to anybody because she doesn't speak English. So Jesper kind of rebuffs her for the majority of the movie. And so one day, like after this, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to teach you English. I mean, I'm not going to do shit, but I know a teacher. So he brings him to Rashida Jones, and he's like, can we at least get her enough English so she can write a letter so she can get a toy? So there's this little moment where they teach the kid
How to sign her name.
Her
name is Margu. Margu?
Margu. There's a little whoop-de-doo over the
U.
The U. And she's super happy. And she's like, she gets to write a letter and communicate with people for a little bit. They send off the letter. She lives in a village. A
nomad village.
Yeah, very far away.
But clearly on this island somewhere.
Yeah, that's... so she asks for a sleigh. They get it all the way out there. She's the one toy they do that night because she's never had one before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And she looks and she's super happy to see it.
It's a really awesome sleigh. Like, it's a wing... Like, what do you call those? A wing glider? The thing where you do that, but...
It's got like a sail on it. It's like a wind glider. It kind of looks like the thing from Wind Waker.
Yeah, and she is like hauling ass on it.
Yeah, she knows how to use it immediately. And they stay... Usually they don't get to see the kids open their presents. But because they traveled this far, why not? So they watch her open the present and see the sleigh and get to use it with her parents. And it's a really cute scene. So they go back... they go back home and they start working on this Christmas plan, but they can't make enough toys in the time it takes for this. Mm-hmm. So they're like, what are we gonna do? And they hear a knock on the door, and they open it up, and it's the entirety of Margu's village, and they just like kind of they file in, and they immediately help him. And they start making toys.
Yeah, they're just like, we heard you needed help. So, it's us. Because the theme of this movie is one good deed inspires another.
Yeah, one good deed encourages more. And that's true. And so, afterwards, Jesper goes to the teacher. Her name is Alva. Goes to Alva's little schoolyard and sees that it's, like, a schoolyard now. Mm-hmm. It's cleaned up and it's beautiful and it looks like a place where kids want to learn.
And the only fish is on the chalkboard where they're teaching them how to count.
And he's like, what the hell? What's all this? And she's like, I figured if kids are going to want to learn, I should gussy it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. He goes, where did you get the money for all of this? You used all your savings? He goes, not all my savings. Yes, I used all my savings. And he's like, what about leaving this place? Like, what about starting somewhere new? And she's like, look around. You'd be stupid to want to leave this place now. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you don't realize what you've done, do you? Follow me. Mm-hmm. And he follows her out into the town where he hasn't really been. Because he's either building toys or he's, like, at night sending toys.
Doing the postman thing.
So he hasn't seen it. And the town is alive. Like, people are commingling. They're, exchanging goods and services for each other. It's decorated for Christmas.
Cookouts, brunches.
Yeah, there's this beautiful tree in the middle of the square
where there should be a battle bell.
Yeah, where the battle bell used to be, and it's just like this beautiful town. And this is where Jesper realizes the effect he's had on these people. Meanwhile, while this is going on, the bad guys the two sides of the town have kind of agreed to a truce. The two heads of the town have agreed to the truce. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we won't fuck each other up until we get him out of here. And they realize that he has this little marking on his wall about hitting 6,000 letters. And they're like, all we have to do is get rid of him. He needs 6,000 letters. Let's get him 6,000 letters. And so they start a letter writing thing.
Like, they start mass producing letters.
Yeah. And then they just huck it onto the boat without Jesper's knowledge whatsoever. Which leads him to not only 6,000, but 14,000 letters. So Jesper, as they're getting ready for Christmas, I think it's Christmas Eve when this happens. Christmas Eve comes, and there's a knock on the door. Jesper opens it, and it's his father, the postmaster. And he's like, wow, Dad, why are you here?
We should also mention that him and the school teacher are really getting along. Like, they're dating at this point.
Basically. It's not expressly stated until the end of the movie, but yeah.
She fell asleep on him. They're dating.
They're dating. So his dad shows up, and he's like, why? I still got a couple days. I'm not done yet. He goes, yeah, you are. 14,000 letters from this place? I had to come see how you did it. And he goes, it's 14,000 letters. What are you talking about? I'm not even done, 5. And then the two bad guys are like, oh, of course you did. Don't be modest. Look at all the stuff you've done. And now it's time for you to leave.
And they pretty much dropped the bombshell on Klaus and, what's her name, Alva? Alva and all the
tribe.
The tribe. Like, he's only here doing all these nice deeds because he wants to leave.
Yeah. He hit 6,000 letters. That's all he wanted you for. And now he's done and he can go. So it's kind of a liar revealed plot twist, and I don't really like those. If there's a failing in the movie, it's that.
But the entire premise of the movie, like, for some of these plots to work, he has to be a con man. Like,
yes, I understand. I've just seen it a million times.
Yeah.
So everybody watches, and he's like, but I have grown to like these people. I can't leave. It's almost Christmas. I got a thing to do. And he's like, come on, a deal's a deal. You can leave this place in your fucking dust. Come back home. Silk sheets, breakfast in bed. You got your personal butler. It's all over. Come on home. And he is super depressed. He turns around and he's like, hey, guys, I can explain. And they're like, no, we get it. You used us for your own gain, and now you're going to leave us back in the dust. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye. And then Klaus is like silent because he's a big monster of a man. He's like, wait, I can explain to you too. And he goes, no, man, we're good. Turns away. Everybody denies him, except for Margot, who doesn't understand why Klaus has to leave.
According to the translation I found on Reddit, like, as they're picking her up and taking her off, she's literally saying, I don't understand. Why is he doing this? I don't understand.
Oh, God. That hurts. She doesn't understand, and then, she gets picked up and, carried back inside. And Jesper gets in the cart, and he gets carted away and put on the boat. And the boat captain is even like, well, this is a first. Because what's that? Because I've never seen a postmaster more depressed in leaving Smearsburg than coming in. And then the boat leaves, and then Margot is sitting on the dock watching it float by. And she's confused, and she doesn't know why. And then she hears a voice from the side, and it's Jesper. And he's like, I guess I missed my boat.
Duh.
And Margot kind of basically asks why. We don't obviously understand it, but he explains it. And he's like, I told my father what happened here, and that I didn't want to leave, and that I had things to do here.
He goes on a very long spiel about it.
He goes on a very long spiel. Basically, I'm happy you're here, and I have friends and a plan here. And apparently his father hugged him, said he was very proud of him, and let him off the boat.
And then apparently Margot said, in her own native tongue, looked at him and said, I don't understand you, right?
Absolutely. So he headed back. It is Christmas Day. We did forget to mention, before this shit went down, the nomadic tribe gave Santa the traditional garments that they wear. They're red and white.
And before everything went down, he was like, is this too much? It feels too much.
It feels too much.
And he's just like, no, we'll just give the reindeer sunglasses to keep them from being blinded.
Keep them from getting dizzy. This should be fine. So he comes back and he's like, hey guys, I'm back. And they're like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. I'm gonna go do Christmas stuff. And he's like, no, I'm gonna help. Like, and they kind of get in the thing, and start down. But Klaus isn't helping at all. And then in this kind of trip, they get chased down by the two heads of the families. And
yeah, they've come to burn Christmas.
Yeah, so they knew they got rid of Jesper, and now they had to take care of Klaus. And there is no qualms about it. They're coming to kill the man. So as he's sledding down, Jesper's kind of in it with him. And it's a chase scene.
Yeah.
And there's this, like, on both sides, there are gigantic dimwit children.
Like, we're talking 17 feet tall.
Yeah, 18 feet wide. And they're both monosyllabic and ugly as sin.
Yes.
And they're both used as the heavy. And so, like, the girl kind of jumps up and tries to attack him. She gets thrown out. And, like, lands on a weak part of the cliff. And it falls and gives way. And the guy from the boy from the other side grabs her and saves her. That comes important later.
Meanwhile, Klaus and Jasper are having a fight on the sleigh as they're being chased by two clans.
Yeah, so they're kind of having a bitch fight. And they, like, the bad guys send an arrow into the bag, and the bag rips open and presents start falling out. And so Jasper's like, we have to save the kids' presents. And he goes, oh, now you care. He goes, fine, you know what? You sit there. I'm going to go up there, probably break my neck, and I'm going to go save the presents for the children. And so he climbs forward, and they get attacked. Eventually, they fall off, and the sled careens over the cliff. Despite the fact that they tried to save it, everything goes over, including the presents.
Because the woman leader is a bitch.
Yeah. And so they're like, we did it! We killed Christmas! Let's go! And it's like, that's the end of that chapter. And they're like, does this mean the truce is over? Yep, absolutely. Tomorrow morning, let's go fight. And so Jesper is, like, beside himself. He's like, I tried and I couldn't do it. And then they hear another sleigh from behind him. And on it is Alva and a member of the nomadic tribe with a big old bag full of presents. And he looks at one of the presents that he saved, and it's just a block of wood.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait a minute, what happened? And Klaus is like, give me a little credit. I'm not going to let you destroy any of the presents. You really think that? No, this is a decoy. The kids of the town knew what happened, what their parents were planning. And they told us.
Because they didn't want their parents' presents destroyed either.
Yeah, and so we thought we figured out a plan B.
We do function a little bit without you.
You know, we have brains when the camera's not on us. And so they deliver the presents on the very first Christmas. All the kids wake up and they see them under the tree. It's a very, very cute scene. And this is essentially the end of the movie. We have a bit of a wrap up. The two kids, the monosyllabic kids from earlier, they get married, which has to begrudgingly end the feud for good.
Yeah, you forgot, though, that we had to explain it to the head leaders, that they're just like, ha, we destroyed Christmas. It's like, yeah, but did you? And there's just like, look, behind you. And they're like, what? And it's like the two monosyllabic kids, like, holding each other.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no, put it down, put it down.
Put it down, put it down.
And they go chasing after them because they're in love now.
Yeah. So they wind up getting married, and this has to end the feud. Jesper marries Alva, and they raise two kids. And every year they do this Christmas thing. Jesper shows up. He and Klaus are friends, to the end. And every year Jesper shows up, we see Klaus getting a little bit older.
A little bit slower.
A little bit slower, a little bit grayer, a little bit wrinklier. And then on the 12th year, the winds that have guided him towards the thing begin to guide him up the hill he could never climb. And he says, he kind of does a deep breath and he goes, I'm coming, dear. implying that the winds are his wife, telling him where to go. And as he climbs the mountain, the winds and the snow kicks up, and he disappears. Jesper arrives that night, can't find him, talks to everybody, disappeared without a trace, no goodbye, no anything.
No one could find him.
No one could find him, no matter what. That Christmas, he sends his kids to bed in this cute little way. He and Alva goes to bed. He sits in front of his Christmas tree. He's got a plate of milk and cookies and a candle burning, and he sits and waits.
Okay.
No. He sits and waits for a long time as the candle burns down. And this whole thing is said in a monologue. The last paragraph of which I have written down here. He said, "What happened to him after that, how, why, I can't even begin to comprehend. I stopped trying to make sense of it a long time ago. But I do know this. Once, every year, I get to see my friend."
There's jingle bells.
There's jingle bells, and then you hear the pat around the roof. He looks up, and the movie ends. So, Klaus, we imagine, finally gets to be with his wife. Jesper finally gets the respect from his father and learns to be not quite a dick. Alva retains her love of teaching.
And get to school again.
It gets to school again. The war is over. The town is the way it should be. Everyone's happy. Curtain down. I love this movie so much.
It pays homage to practically every Christmas movie known to man, nature, and science.
It is so well done in so many ways. It is beautiful. It is so well told. It's simple, but it doesn't treat you like an idiot. There's a lot of, like, I guess you could say, like, Christmas fan service.
Yeah.
And the little thing, like, as you watch the movie, like, you see the reindeer, and you're like, oh, that's that thing I remember. Or when, like, they fly over the hill, and you're like, oh, so, like, all of these things...
They're not magic. They just hit a snow ramp.
They're just... yeah, they're just accidents that occur, and we've turned them into what we have.
Or they might be magic now. It's unclear.
Who knows? Exactly. But I think that, like, I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. If there's one issue I have, it's the fact that it is a liar revealed storyline, which we get a lot in kids' movies. But
you gotta teach the kids not to lie.
Yeah. But I think the charm of the movie carries that far and away. Like, it's basically a nitpick at this point. So, like, fundamentally, it's one of my favorite Christmas movies to come out.
Yeah.
In the last 10, 15 years. So it's fun to have a movie to watch that wasn't released in the 1950s.
That's true. That's fairly recently.
Yeah. This movie came out last year. It is, honestly, it's wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it. If you haven't seen it for whatever reason, I don't know, you think you're too good for this or what?
Suck it up and deal. Go watch it.
Grab a Netflix subscription from somebody. Especially, like, if you have kids, they'll love this movie.
Yeah.
You'll love this movie. Yeah. So, I'm not really going to give it a score. Just...
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's real good. Go see it.
You didn't much care for the music, though.
There is one song
that kind of carries through.
It's kind of carried through, and it's more so prevalent during a montage, and it's this weird, like, I thought it was like what Demi Lovato, or like it's a weird, like, pop song that does not fit the time or the look of the movie. So
Well, they wanted an Into the Unknown, right?
yeah, they didn't get it because the song is also bad. So that's an issue.
Well, the thing, it's like, what was the meaning of the song? Like, the things that we truly need in life are invisible.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, it's It was made for the movie, or it must have been. It's not great. It's sung well, but it plays twice, once through the movie and then once at the credits. That's not very good. That maybe like that's a weak spot in the film, but again, nothing that would hinder anybody's enjoyment of it, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
it's great. Like, you have, you know, a guy who's all about Christmas and marries a school teacher while living in a village made of Burgermeister burgers.
You know, that is kind of what happened, eh? It's.
I told you, every goddamn Christmas movie from now until the end of time. Arguably, you could say Die Hard's in it because he had to go through some serious shit to avoid some terrorists.
Sure. True that. But yeah, so I think that's you know all I got to say on the movie. Like I said, go see it. Go see it right now. It is Christmas Day, as you are listening to this.
Yes.
Gather the family. Take your new PS5, like you got a PS5,
and your Cyberpunk, I assume.
Yeah, and your broke ass Cyberpunk 2077.
And while the 17,000 gig patch is loading, go watch Klaus.
Yeah, while everything's loading up, give Klaus a watch. It's a movie I will watch every year.
Yes.
From now on.
Because it's great.
I truly adore it. But with that, technically, we are done. At this moment, there are no more Hallmark movies to watch.
Woo! So
our chronological critique of this year's Hallmark movies are complete.
Woo! We did our best, guys.
We did our best. Our experiment, whether or not you should watch every single Hallmark movie that's released in a year, has come to a resounding no.
Unless the title very clearly states that it's not a trope. Like, A Timeless Christmas isn't, like, one of their standard titles, right?
That one's fun.
Christmas with the Darlings, again, not a standard title.
Yeah.
And those movies, probably good.
They were good. But that means they're done.
Yes.
Which means we're done.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Watch this, because there's no more Doctor Who.
That leaves us with a question. What happens to us in the new year? Are we done for good?
What comes next?
The answer, of course, is no. You couldn't get rid of us if you fucking tried.
You're stuck with us.
But that leads us to a bit of a question. Because there are no more Hallmark Christmas movies to watch. And if you think I'm going to extend this to every movie Hallmark releases, you're on fucking glue. So, what is it that we're going to do next? Well, we thought the basic idea was to watch this series of movies and see kind of how they change and play off of each other. So that's what we're going to continue to do, but with different series.
Yes, I lived under a rock, so most of these are going to be new to me.
That is true. So we're going to basically take a series of movies, start with the first one, watch all of them to the end, and see how they change and transform over however long they've been released. This could be anything from the Alien series to the Predator series, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, whatever it is. We're going to pick a series, and from beginning to end, we are going to watch it. We are not going to do 4 episodes a week. That was insane.
That was a little intense.
Probably going to go to 1 a week, like a normal-ass podcast.
Yes.
But So if you have an idea, if you have a series that you really enjoy and want us to watch, leave it in the comments. Let us know. We will pick up and go in the new year. We're going to take the rest of the year off because duh. And we will start sometime in January. Which leads us to the next question. What's going to be our first series?
That's a good question.
We will leave you with the trailer.
One race, 2G buy-in, winner takes all.
I don't have any cash, but I do have the pink slip to my car. You brave. You brave.
You're in. Do it fast, do it furious.
On the street, where reputations are made.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
There we go. We are doing the Fast and the Furious series. There are 8 of these movies.
And I've only seen the most recent one.
You saw Hobbs and Shaw, which is... I thought this was a good one to start with because nothing gets further removed from its original spot than that. Like, this movie started out as a street racing movie in 2001. They're going to fucking space next year.
Are they?
From what I believe.
For reals?
We haven't seen a trailer yet, but there is a new movie, Fast 9? No. Fast 10?
Sure.
I apologize. I'll look this up before the actual thing starts. Yeah, they're going to space.
Are we going to race rockets to the moon?
I hope to God.
You know Saints Row, how it started off as a serious...
As a Grand Theft Auto clone
Yeah.
and turned into this?
And then, in the end, the most recent iteration, we were riding raptors in space while beating people with dildo bats.
Hell yeah. That's basically what happened. So, that is where we are going to go. We are going to start in January 2021. Hopefully, the start of a better year than 2020 was to us.
If not, this will be just documentation of our steadily decaying mental state in an increasingly terrible pandemic.
Amen.
Becomes data.
Yeah, this is just this is science what we're doing.
We're doing science, guys.
But I think that's all for this year. What do you think, cutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So should they watch The Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch The Thing.
Go watch Klaus.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Chibnall sucks. It's Christmas. I get to say that.
That's true. But honestly, thank you very much for watching with us. If you've been with us since the start in October, thanks for watching through this entire project.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support. This has been a ride, and I know 2020 has sucked for so many people.
Yep.
Us included. So we hope this has brought a little bit of levity to a fucking bummer of a year. But I hope, whenever you're listening to this, I hope you had a great holiday. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. A Happy Hanukkah. I know Hanukkah ended a couple days ago, but a Happy Hanukkah, Quasi Kwanzaa, a tip-top Tet, and a solemn and dignified Ramadan.
Kwanzaa starts after Christmas is over,
I think so, yes.
In that gap between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. So, in this year of crazy highs, terrifying lows, and creamy middles, thank you guys very much for sticking with us.
Thank you.
We love you very deeply. And we will see you in the next year.
See you next year.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Love you.
See you next year.
See you in the next year. Bye-bye.
Bye.